There are guns out there that are iconic. Guns where you just need to see the shape of and you automatically know you've seen it somewhere. That can be said of the FN-FAL. The FAL was probably one of the most iconic guns of the 20th century and was deployed in more than 70 different countries around the world. This though is its proper British cousin, the L1A1 SLR self-loading rifle. The L1A1 was the standard issue infantry rifle fielded by the British back in the late 50s before the introduction of the SA-80. The L1A1 most notably was only a semi-auto gun, but it saw its fair share of action around the world, and it was during the Falklands War where the semi-auto L1A1 was pitted against the full-auto FALs of the Argentines. We all know how that ended. The British won. The L1A1 played a major part. In airsoft, how does semi-auto only fare in a world full of full-auto guns?
Today we're going to be looking at this gun right here, the Ares L1A1 SLR, and boy is it long. It is 1.15 meters long, or roughly a little over 3.5 feet. Now that's about longer than your average cricket bat, or about as long as the broom I have at home. Getting into it, this was the gun used by the British military before the SA-80, and it bears striking resemblance to the FAL, because essentially they are the same gun. However, this one is semi-automatic fire only. This version of the Ares L1A1 is primarily made out of metal, with plastic handguard, pistol grip, buttstock, and the handle part of the carry handle made out of plastic. It's worth noting that there is a real wood version of this gun, and it features real wood on all the same parts I just mentioned. Looking at the front of the gun, immediately you're going to find everything is really super long. From the super long flash hider to the outer barrel, and it connects right down to the gas block, and then you'll find the sling adapter. Talking about long, the inner barrel is no slouch as well. It comes in at 6.03 at diameter and 555 millimeters in length. That is a long inner barrel. From that, we move to the plastic handguard. Now the plastic handguard is a little slick. You're not going to get a lot of grip if your hands are a little moist or if it's wet outside, so make sure you put on a pair of gloves. You're also going to find a few seams from the molding process left over. So yeah, I really would have wished they did a little bit of a better job in cleaning that up. Moving to the middle of the gun, where it's all metal construction, you'll find the carry handle. Now for how long this gun is, it's relatively balanced, and it's not that heavy, to be honest. So this carry handle is more for aesthetics. From there, we get to the magazine. Now the magazine is very AK style. So how you reload, you're going to have to pop it in like this, pull back, and the release lever is right here. The magazine is a 120 round mag, so that gives you plenty of ammo to shoot down range. Reloading the mag can be a little awkward at times if you have a little bit smaller hands. Also, the magazine release being so high up, I can definitely see, if you have gloves on, the operation being just a little bit awkward. Now getting to the fire selector, its head is a little big and easy to use, but if you're used to those snappy M4 selectors or a little bit more stiff AK selectors, you're going to find that this fire selector is a little soft and it doesn't feel very solid on the selection. Moving from that, we go to the grip. The grip itself is pretty slick. It's got a little bit of texturing on it, but it doesn't do you any good. So make sure you do wear a pair of gloves for extended use, because right now, even in my hands with a little bit of moisture in them, the gun's starting to roll a little bit, to be very honest. We also had to switch angles because this gun is completely not ambidextrous. I didn't think that that was one of the designs these early gun makers were considering for this gun. So there's nothing on this side, which is the right side of the gun, and everything is on the left side. Moving to the rear of the gun, you're going to find a flip-up rear sight, which aligns perfectly with the front, a large buttstock, and inside this buttstock is the battery connector right here. Underneath the battery connector, you're going to find the rear sling mount. And that's it for the gun. Ares did mention that they will come out with a rail adapter sometime in the future. Now when that is, I can't be exactly sure. But keep an eye out on our website, guys. We'll be sure to tell you guys right away as soon as we get them. Before we get into chronoing, let's take a look at the HopUp and the trigger. Especially the trigger, since the trigger is a little unique. Now, the HopUp is really easy to find. Pull back the charging handle, and there it is, right in the chamber. You can adjust for more or less hop. The HopUp wheel itself is not very stiff, making it really easy for you to adjust. And there's enough room for you to put 2 fingers in there to quickly get to the dial for more or less hop is what you want on the field. Next thing you want to look at the trigger. The trigger itself is pretty cool. It's activated by this rod right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there. Now that rod, when you pull back, activates the motor and then it sends the BB forward. Instead of what some new guns have, the mechanism is usually up in here. Trigger-wise, it's not short-stroked. There's a bit of travel in there. And reset. There's either none or very, very, very little. And it's really not that big of a deal. With a 120 round magazine and a semi-auto gun, you can shoot to your heart's content. Let's chrono the gun now. Using a 7.4 LiPo and 0.2 gram BBs, the gun averages out at around 430 FPS. Now, yes, it is a little hot, but don't worry, I'm sure Ares will make a version ready for your country's legal FPS limits. Here we are back at the warehouse, and I'm standing about 30 meters away. That's roughly about 98 feet, and I'm about to shoot the L1A1. Now today I'm going to be wearing the Pig Delta Full Dexterity gloves. Shout out to SKD Tactical. Thank you for sending out these really awesome gloves. They're really comfortable, and I think you guys should definitely check them out. Hopefully these gloves are going to keep my hands nice and gripped on the gun and prevent some of that rotation. The shouldering of this gun is actually quite comfortable with the buttstock and how it fits in your shoulder, and the length really doesn't become too big of an issue once you have it in your arms. It's actually quite comfortable to shoot. The trigger pull itself, being a little long on the stroke, doesn't play into too much of an issue when you're firing shots down range. The trigger pull is actually quite smooth, even though the travel distance is a little long. Now if you see with my left hand, you can see exactly how long the travel distance is before the shot breaks. The gun itself, with the classical style design, is very interesting to shoot actually, and it really makes you appreciate some of the new ergonomics you find on some more modern guns, like the Scar, like an M4. Definitely a fun gun to shoot, and these sights are really easy to read. The rear sight being flip up, you can bump into it at times to kind of take your eyes off of things. But what it is interesting to note is you can move the rear sight up and down for the distance, and it comes in yards as indicated here. All right, let me put down this gun and take off these gloves. Let's take a look at these results. What you see here is roughly about a 3-inch spread, or the size of my palm. So 30 meters or 98 feet away, you can absolutely hit a target of that size. Now, I'm pretty sure with a good adjustment of the HopUp, you're going to get a much tighter group than that. And it's definitely going to shoot much further than 30 meters with pinpoint accuracy. After all, you do have a 550 millimeter inner barrel in that gun. After shooting the gun, I think the answer was pretty obvious. Of course, a semi-auto gun can't beat a full auto gun outright. But what we did find out is with this incredibly long inner barrel, you're going to have pinpoint accuracy, meaning you can take shots from further away and hit that guy that's spraying and praying down range. Keeping in that spirit, I really wish Ares would have just included that rail adapter for you guys. Being a gun that is more for long or medium ranges, having a magnifier or some kind of optic on top would definitely help you guys out a lot. These sights are a little on the smaller side. If you're also interested in other Ares long guns, check out Tim's review of the Ares M14 EBR right here. I'm Tim. We have the M14 EBR SS. The gun's also on sale, so check it out while it lasts. So to wrap it all up for you guys, the Ares L1A1 SLR was a fun gun to shoot, if not a great example in how far modern firearms have come. So if you want cool guns like this and many more, don't forget to check us out at www.redwolfairsoft.com. My name is Mark, aka Blue Steel, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of RedWolf TV. Have a good one, guys.